out. God just let you run till you pass out. Then he said, all right, are you ready now? I'm having a good time up here today. I don't know if y'all are. I'm enjoying my. In the Bible, when sacrifices was offered to God, they were killed in the old covenant. The animal was slain, the blood was drained, then it was laid upon the altar and burnt to the Lord as a sacrifice. But when it come to me and you, he's saying that we lay down our will to him by giving over our body to him, not dead, but alive. You say, why he wanted alive? He want us for use. He want to do something with you. After all, he made you. Talk to me. Mother and father was just the agents that he used to put you on planet Earth. But God is the one that made you. Know ye not the Lord, he is God. Psalms 100. It is he who have made us, and not we ourselves. So we are not the result of our own self. Is that right? So he says, present your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. For service. For service. God wants you for service. So that must be some things he need to do with you that he don't do by himself. You know, there's a lot of people think, well, the Lord just will do it. When has he done it yet? Not apart from you, he ain't. You will be in the loop for your future. You will be in the loop for your destiny. You will be involved for your purpose. God will work with you to unfold his plan for you. The Lord working with them, confirming his word with signs following. There ought to be something following you now. Signs and wonders follow those who believe. Let's talk now. That he said that you may prove what is the good, the acceptable, and the perfect will of God. Now we're moving into something. And let us take our time and do it well. First of all, we have some things that stands out to us in this scripture. The scripture say, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good, acceptable, and the perfect will of God. Now, isn't it something over in the Old Testament when Jonah was sent to Nineveh, one of the main reasons why God didn't destroy that city and all his children and the women and everything there, one of the primary reasons, even when Jonah wanted him to do it, that's why he ran. The Ninevites were butchers. They were heathens. They were violent. They did some despicable things. You wouldn't believe it. One of the ways they offer sacrifices to their gods, they would take little children and throw them down and let them dash upon the rock as an offering. And they were cruel to the Israelites and anybody else. And Jonah knew about what all they had did to his people. And God said, go preach to them. Jonah said, I don't think so. And the reason God said, go preach to them because I don't want to destroy them. What Jonah said, oh, okay, that's your plan. I ain't going. Isn't it human nature that you want revenge on your enemy? Look at you getting sanctified on me. I know better. When somebody do something to you bad enough, you want revenge. Only a few people helping me. The rest of you being spiritual. We know better. I'm a pastor. I know people. And God know people. And Jonah ran. He went the opposite way, like some people in here today been running from God. It's just going to wear you out. God just let you run till you pass out. Then he said, all right, are you ready now? I'm having a good time up here today. I don't know if y'all are. I've enjoyed myself. And Jonah was on the run. And everything he got in, God troubled it. Didn't say the devil. God was troubling it. You say, why? Because when you belong to him, he can trouble things around you. Especially if your life ain't in line with him. He know how to line you up. Somebody say, I don't like this preaching. That's okay. This is what we got for you. There are alignments that come by God, for God, through God, that changes your life. And finally, they decided who was the problem and the troublemaker, and it was Jonah. But what was the whole reason of it? The Bible said, God said about Nineveh, they didn't know their left hand from their right. We're living in a time now where people no longer know their left hand from their right. Now, wasn't that figurative? Yes, it was. What he was simply saying, no longer know good from evil. No longer can tell what is right from what is wrong. Where wrong become the norm. Lift your hand and thank God with me now. Come on. Come on now. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Come on, do it. Let's thank him. But you'll see God's MO is high on rewarding what is good and dealing with what is evil. It is. And the reason I brought that out to you is because there's some things you'll never fully understand about God till your mind get renewed. The renewing of the mind is not memorization of scriptures only. Because if that be the case, you can find lawyers who are not converted can quote more scriptures than you can by reason of they have high memorization. And yet they ain't experienced no light inside of their spirit. They just can remember things. Somebody called it photographic memory. You can see it and memorize. And now they got systems that teach you how to strengthen your memory. That right? But for the child of God, God said, I got to tear out things that has affected you from your previous life. I got to tear it out, remove it. That's what you got to do. And I got to replace it by my spirit with my word to change your whole way of perception and thinking. Your reasoning changes by light and understanding. Is that right? Be not conformed. That's shaped, fashioned into the behavior of the world. Now, how you tell somebody that when that's all they know? You can't do it. You become the product of your environment. You will behave like everybody else behave. You will do like everybody else do. Don't we want to dress like everybody else dress? Without even asking where the style come from, where the fashion come from. Is that right? We'll cut our hair a certain way because everybody else have it look good on them, and you just conclude because it look good on them, it will look good on me. And sometimes it don't even match your big head. Sometimes it don't. You don't have the head shape for it. I'll take big off of there. Sometimes your head don't even have the design for that fashion. But because it looked good on her, it looked good on him, it will look good on not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. That right? Come on, tell the truth in here. Now, we could go into a whole lot of stuff on that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going right on with this message here. Say it with me, conform, transform. Now, let me give you the working definition for that. It means to adopt the customs, to fashion and configure ourselves like the world. Transform is from the Greek word we get metamorphosis. We see this in the caterpillar. Completely changes its shapes and color and function. Now that's how you know your mind being renewed. It begin to change your behavior, your decision making. Come on, give me some help. Listen, your attitude change. You don't realize, a lot of people think God is just confined to the church and the four walls. When God get a hold to you, he prepare you for the world. He ready to show you off to the world. I want you to see what it looked like when somebody began to apply my will to their life. They become some of the best workers in corporation. They become some of the best in every arena. Now, we done lost that in this contemporary Christianity, but we're going back to it. The Bible said when Daniel and his friends was groomed for 3 years, they were set in government. Without any learning. Listen, they didn't know the culture. They were a different race, had a different language, but after 3 years of training, the Bible said they were 10 times more wiser than the men and the magicians and the wise sayers of the government of Babylon. Now, why was that so? God was with them. How can God be with you and can't nobody see it? I tell you, it's impossible. Because wherever he's at, you can't hide him. Somebody talking about that's a secret Christian. No such thing. That's like the Loch Ness monster. We ain't seen him yet. He was over here. He was over there. He was over there. There's footprints, but we ain't seen him yet. God is not some fabrication of the imagination of a man. He's the king of the world, the maker of everything we see and know. And if it's good, he got something to do with it. And the church shall say, amen. Being not conformed, but being transformed by the renewing of your mind. The first thing God does, he calls you to worship. You see, if you don't know it, the devil won't worship because he know God must be worshiped. See, Satan will give you anything you ask him for if you'll worship him for it. What it's going to cost you is your soul. You lose your soul for it. There are some people who have sold their soul to Satan for success. They sold it to him. They made vows to the devil for money and fame and fortune. Listen to me today. We're going somewhere here, ain't we? Amen. But the Bible said the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and all that dwell therein. He called himself a king who has a kingdom, and he said what's in his kingdom, he have good pleasure to give it to his children. So he ain't holding nothing back from us that is necessary for a great life. What he hold back from you is the misery and the price that is high that it costs you for living out of his will on a consistent basis. On a consistent basis. One of the primary abuses of our time is men and women of God who stand in ministry offices telling you that you got to connect to them so they can tell you what God wants for you. Now, come on now, let me help you today. I'm trying to help people today. I say that's one of the prolific abuses of right now of our time. And that's because the price for God's revealed will costs time. And he don't entrust nobody to tell you what he wants you to do for him. He tells you what he wants you to do so that you are without excuse that I didn't know. Or like Adam, I'm messed up now because this woman you gave me. You will never have some person to tell God, I'm messed up, don't know how to do it right, I ain't fulfilling what you told me to do because they told me this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And the Lord will say, where is that in my word? No, the Bible says, for as many as are led. In essence, God said, I've made a commitment to all of my children that I will lead you in life if you let me. Who to marry? You know, when you say who to marry, include it who you should marry. Where to work? What city that I should be living in? What house should I buy? What business should I start? Talk to me. If it's in God's will, he wants you to know. And if it's out of his will, he wants you to know. Now, the Bible said this conform and transform, the end result of it. It ain't just for making us changing and becoming something special in and of ourselves to an end. It's taking us to that we can know the good, perfect will of God. The good and the perfect, the acceptable will of God. So God's will is acceptable. God's will is good. God's will is perfect for you. See, somebody say, well, then you can be in God's good will, you can be in God's acceptable will, and you can be in God's perfect will. Come on, you don't have three wills, do you? Why would you give God three? God don't have no good, acceptable, and perfect. He just simply saying, when you in my will, all three of them are working. It will be good, acceptable, and perfect.